In this video, I will speak on several different frequencies at once, and the main point of this video is basically to show those who see something that they might not have seen before, and show those who do not see something they can argue about. So basically, we had a ceremony this past weekend. It was more of an initiation ceremony, and we have been doing these for a long time. And there is this respect around. Sorry about that. There is this respect around those ceremonies, the medicine that is being used, and the knowledge and the wisdom that has been passed down since, man first started to stumble out of the caves. There's a lot of things that goes into these. This time I was saying good night to my daughter, and I was calling her, seeing her on FaceTime and or a messenger. And we have had this thing where we created a pink castle. We just drew a castle together. It was a very father-daughter kind of moment where we had this Disney-ish pink and white striped castle. And I told her, like, do whatever you want. Where do you want the windows to be? Where do we want the gates to be? How do we want this to look? Just to really get her creativity going in terms of creating a memory castle. You know what that means? Great. If you don't, you should check it out. So she has a very strong feeling of what that is. And lately we have been doing these exercises where I close my eyes and we meditate and we go through the same castle and we just hang out, in this mental, multi-dimensional or different dimension, let's just say that. I have not really put any thought to it. It wasn't something that really stood out because it was just something that we did. Now she's very awake, she's extremely empathic, more knowledgeable than most adults I know, and she is facing her fear and acting through love. If I ask her what is the strongest power in the universe, she will say, duh, love. She knows the practical implication of quantum physics. You don't need to know how quantum physics work. You don't even need to know the term quantum physics. If you do things in the terms that is going to make you feel better, you basically know how to do quantum physics in, everyday things instead of just associating that with something a theoretical physicist operating on string theory would write on a board while he's making his toast. Quantum physics is just like swimming. It is a term for something that humans have designed, but humans are stupid. We have been trying to figure out how to explain everything since several books were written, and we are still complaining about that. So, to bring the point to something, before I went, I told my daughter I would see her in her memory castle that day. I knew what I was going to do. She didn't. She said, I said, I will see you later. She says, I will meet you in the dining room. Her mom was lying next to her, asking, what are you guys talking about? And we had to introduce her to this whole thing that we were playing with, the memory castle or the mental castle, her pink castle in the mind. And it was like, oh, cool, good to know. So I went up to this event. And what I'm going to show you now might shock the core of you. And if it doesn't, great. That's fantastic. Because to be honest, it kind of sucks to feel like you're crazy, kind of. But I've seen now that this is something that many people have experienced in different ways, in different magnitudes. So I'm just this is my experience. So I'm just sharing what I have learned and what I've seen. If it can help you, then great. This is the first video taken. There we go. I'm just sitting here with my phone. So this is not a video. This is just a picture that I coincidentally clicked into. But you see, I'm sitting with the fire, and this picture is quite interesting because it has a lot of things going on. I want you to disregard this smoke, because that's what most people focused on. That smoke. That's a camera flare. Okay, cool. then let's establish that that is a camera flare. That is a reflection, a inverted reflection of the fire intensity. It follows the same frequency, so it's kind of obvious to see that this is fire. I'm struggling to see where the purple hue is coming from. That's just me. Might be the jacket shining, whatever. It also is really interesting to see that the auras in the chakra system, the color of Aum, all these things are this color. And the crown chakra is purple. So that's just a fun fact. And also, if you look here, this whole smoke is a line from my fucking forehead. And it looks like I've blown a circle, like a ring of smoke from my forehead. Goes here and then comes to the fire, which is energy, and poof, shoots up. I found that interesting. More interestingly, we have videos, of course. We have a lot of stories, videos, conversations, and a whole bunch of things that kind of goes into support this whole thing. But this is one of the times I was videotaped, and I was sitting in this position for about 6 hours that night. I want you to look at my hands, which felt natural to be like that. Turns out that is a mudra. It represents Aum. I've never said that word. Not like many people use it. So I'm sitting here and I'm focusing on the memory castle, the pink castle that me and my daughter had created. So I want you to just keep that in mind. That's what I'm doing right here. And we go into the forge, into the actual thing. We have something else pretty interesting happening. Before I get into this, however, I want you to be open-minded. I don't want you to be a normal person in this. I don't want you to just disregard everything you see because one thing scares the fuck out of you. That thing here is the camera reflection. Let's establish that fact. What I want you to really answer for me, because I'm still wondering what the hell, is how everything else is correlating with this. Because if we see the universe as one big holistic thing that is just unified in everything it does, a perfectly oiled system, then it makes sense that everything that is happening in a way that is understandable. And it doesn't matter if it is an electronical malfunction or whatever it is. Because here, I am focusing on healing, more or less. What I'm doing right now is trying to just raise my own frequency. And as I'm doing that, I'm focusing on her energy, just to try to perceive what's going on. And we haven't said shit in this. I want you to notice what happens after the cameraman notices this thing. Because, of course, he was shocked. It was like, what the hell is that? But look at everything else that's going on. At this point, I'm trying to focus on her. At this point, she said she will not accept. She's trying to kind of resist. She's actually swiping it away. Look at my face. Smiling soon. And then as I made that little, I don't know if you saw that. Because it took me a little while until I saw what I did with my head. When it's here, look at my head just before it kind of does what it does. You see how I'm kind of... Look at the fire now. All of a sudden it crackles. All of a sudden the fire is starting to do things that it hasn't done before. That's an interesting thing that happened. Now, Do we have more? Of course we do. We have freaking hundreds of hours of videos and testimonies and things that is just showing things that I can't explain. Back to the mental castle. The person you saw here has a dog. The dog's name is Fenris. Fenris is the wolf of the apocalypse in Norse mythology. Thor dies from the Midgard serpent, fights Fenris with the gods. Now, we call this lovingly, we call this a forge, we call this meeting the wolf, we call this a lot of things. But what's interesting is when Fenris met the wolf. Because me and Fenris, we were talking that day. We were communicating. We were thinking with each other. Because he was going through a few demons himself. He's scared of the dark. So he didn't want to go down into this whole area you see here beneath the fire. He was scared of the dark under the fire. So I was talking to him. I was helping him through crossing his demons and all that stuff. But me and Fenris, the wolf, if you want to see it like that, even though he's a dog, me and Fenris were doing more or less things the entire night. We were talking, we were interacting, and he was there making sure that everyone was okay. This is where we were outside. We were talking with the fire. Me and Fenris were outside here in the woods. So, the point. The next day, so many things had happened, and I'm trying to reflect. I'm trying to just land in whatever happened, because so many things happened, were experienced, seen. There are too much to go through, literally. But one thing shocked me to the core, because I called up my daughter, and they were eating, and she said, actually, I started. I wanted to get her her experience of what happened without really putting anything in her. I didn't want her to be biased. So I asked her, "What can you tell me about last night?" Hopefully she was gonna pick up on that because I was focusing on the pink castle. And, not surprisingly, she just goes straight into it. Yeah, I was there. And we had arranged for her to meet me in the dining room of this castle. She was going to wear a blue t-shirt and the princess gown and the normal crown. Right? That's literally what she said. And she said she was waiting, but I wasn't there. I was in the forest with the wolf. So I said, yes. And I apologize for that. I was there. I was helping Fenris, and I was helping the person going through some things. I was there, but I was not there with you. I saw you, but I was not there. And she says, I know. And that was, for me, that just shook me to the core, because that was too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence. And then today I was having this, because there's still books and videos and tomes to be written about what happened this weekend, but I was having this conversation today in the morning, because last night I saw this post of a friend of mine who is very musically aligned. She's posting things about frequencies and music and how all of these things that people should fucking know by now, but we still don't. So she's posting things that's going to wake people the fuck up. And this one was about the hertz, 432 versus 440, right? And what happened when people started to use these different frequencies in the music that has been universally used all over the place since ever. Hitler was really fascinated about that. So I saw this and I was like, I need to post this. So I posted that on my wall. Shortly after, I saw this video of a tribe member, two tribe members basically, who were talking on Messenger. One of them was playing a guitar. That person is very interesting to me because he is very much into the frequencies. He's making music. He has this vault of knowledge that just blows my mind every time. And we had this amazing conversation, and we kind of went through the coincidences that led up to that conversation. It's pretty easy to follow once you're aware, I guess. And there he is, sitting with his Sao Paulo stick. And if you don't know what that is, it's a piece of wood from Southern America. I don't know too much about it, and I'm glad I don't. But the one thing I know is that it's supposed to not catch on fire. If there's good energy, that does not catch on fire. It's that simple. And I saw that happening a few times myself. So I was like, gotta have to check this out. So he lit that up in the beginning of our conversation and it burst into flames. He was kind of shaking it off. The smoke came out. I didn't say anything. We continue our talk and we updated each other on where we were and what has happened since last time we spoke. He played some music. He got me into the whole rule of fifths, the Pythagorean rules within frequencies, and all these things that is just, it was mind-boggling to me because I'm trying to figure out more about frequencies. At the end, I felt like we had raised the frequency so much that I knew that Sao Paulo would not work. So I asked him, I just told him the story I just told you, that it's supposed to not catch flame. And I asked, can you try to set fire to that right now in front of the camera? And he did. He tried. It did not burst into flames. He was kind of shocked himself. I was relieved and still very excited that that actually happened because it just proved so much more. To the point where I'm now just, if you don't believe, that's on you. It's okay. Everyone is on their own journey. Everyone has their own demons and their own things and their own insights to figure out. But if there's one thing that I've learned from this fucking weekend, and I'm saying this as kind of frustrated, because I'm shocked, to be honest, about the amount, the discrepancy between the people who wants to know or the people who know, the two sides of the fence. Because I run a group of 9,000 people and I use the everyone tag. I've used that now statistically. I checked because I was flogged for it. I checked that I've used that twice in 2 months. And it's always when we are sharing free live streams that it goes into these things. Right? Extremely aligned with the group. Many people went straight for that. Stop tagging me. You have done this so many times. We have told you to stop. Why do you not stop? Fun fact. First of all, I'm the admin of the group. Second of all, we've worked in that group for years. Third of all, every single person has been personally vetted to get into the group. Fourth, there is a function on Facebook where you can turn off the mention, which no people have had the effort to actually do. So that taught me one thing. The other thing is that everyone focused so hard on the lens flare that the entire point of everything was lost to those people who were there. Of course, this is not going to stop. But the fact that people just take an answer that feels okay and they toss that out there and then disregard every other angle, every other perspective, it's fucking detrimental. It's stupid and it's reckless and it's going to ruin mankind even more if we don't start asking critical questions. If you don't start asking critical questions why people are going away from you if you're being a douche, then you're never going to be not a douche. Right? Energy attracts more of the same. If you're a good, high-vibing human who wants to raise the frequency of others, you are going to see things in your life that you cannot explain with your logical mind. It is not supposed to be explained with your logical mind. It is being present. It is being now. And everything that happens because of that, it's just a consequence of you being here now. I think that's why they write books about it all the time and talks about it in every scripture. There is something to be learned. And I have not even come close to find out the answers because every single day these coincidences come into my life and shocks me to the core. I have no idea how to respond to it. That's why I came into the communities. That's why I'm asking other people, what do you think? What is your answer? And if you have an answer, are you 100% experienced enough going through these exact same variables of psychedelic trance meditation? I'm saying trance meditation here is not music. It's the trance you go into in the meditation. The astral projection, the quantum entanglement of it all, and everything that we can take in from spiritual practices and different other healing things from the dawn of time. As long as humans has been here, we have been using medicine of the nature. We have been using fireplaces or campfires and the universe to guide us. We have gone inside to meditate to find answers. We've done a whole bunch of things. that has just been forgotten about. Today, we don't do that. Why should we? I think the new way of learning today is on TikTok and memes because our attention span is simply not supportive of new knowledge. We cannot focus. If you're watching this right now and this is your original movie or the video and we're 20 minutes in, I can damn near guarantee you that 97% has already left, which is fascinating. And you can see that on the statistics on the YouTube video. So it's not just something that I'm saying. We have severe issues in our culture and our society. We have to start fixing it. We have to start forging the fucking legacy that is gonna help people in the future. But we are too ego driven. We're too fear evasive, and we're too kind of going through thinking that we know it all. I vote to change that. And I think that the Legacy Forge is going to do a huge impact on that field. But we have a lot of work to do because just seeing how people reacted from that one picture scares the crap out of me. Because this is the people that my kids and their future generations are going to live with if we don't start doing things. So, I want to ask you a question before I leave now. What can you do to help someone today? Love your face. Take care of your freaking family. And I will see you in the next one.